Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And yes, we're going to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. First and foremost, you're going to get a whole bunch of up on crack word salad that would make Elaine blush. So, be prepared for that. In the description box, you are going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by Autistics for Autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral treatment program. In fact, JRC doesn't want you to read this article so damn much. They have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not move it from their website. NeuroClastic has refused. So please read that article, folks, and share it on all your social media, okay? We also have NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as their GoFundMe. So if the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their actual threat, we want to make sure that they're covered. In fact, we want JRC to do this. We want them to drag this into court because then they are going to have to prove that what they do at their center is not torture and be held fucking accountable in the public domain for the first goddamn time. Because I don't see NeuroClastic settling. No, we want answers. It's been over 3 decades. They never answered for the 6 deaths that is there at their doorstep. They never answered for what they've done to Andre McCollins and countless other disabled people. All right. Okay. We also have the links in regards to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding ranch out in Stockton, Missouri for troubled teens. They have it counting 19 lawsuits currently pending against them that allege abuse, sexual abuse, torture, and starvation, as well as overwork and many, many, many other things. Working them while they're starving, for example. So, folks, please go take a look at those links. Go to the GoFundMe, that is not the GoFundMe, the change.org petition to shut the place down. That's in there in the description box. And get this shared on all your social media. We are still looking to see if there's any place, anywhere I can find anything where Agape Boarding School actually speaks up for themselves. I have yet to come across anything. If you all see anything at all, please bring it to my attention in the comments. Doesn't matter if it's a JRC video or Agape video. Please let me know, okay? We have the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones, all right? It is 9:37 a.m. in the morning. I am barely awake, so if I stumble over my words, folks, you know the drill. Apologies in advance, all right? Okay, so let's kind of go over what we've been going over so far in regards to the JRC. The JRC doesn't think that they have to utilize a functional analysis like every other program like them. They basically created their own version, which they call a functional assessment, where they only focus on one thing, the behaviors and how better to most effectively torture them, these poor kids, in order to get the results, what they call success from them, which is basically traumatizing them into complete obedience without ever complaining about the abuse and the atrocities committed against them every single day and their fellow students. Yeah, yeah. Not what an actual functional analysis does. For those new to the channel, what a functional analysis is a tool in order to get a full, well-rounded view of the patient in order to design the most effective treatment plan possible. In regards to medical treatment, it is used in order to develop a kind of plan, usually with social workers and everybody involved, to see where are the strengths, can we build on those strengths, what behaviors that we are strong in that are approvable, and how those can be strengthened. Where are the falls? Where are we failing? Is there any kind of reasonable accommodation or something else we can provide there to help strengthen that area? You see where I'm going. It's to get a whole rounded look at the patient and where can we go from here. In the education sector, it intersects very much so, because you want to build on those strengths using the education programs and things available, but you also want to provide things for the areas that are lacking in education if they're struggling with a particular subject, for example. It's not supposed to be used in an educational setting in order to focus on behaviors. That's not the fucking business of the education side of things. That's the medical treatment side of things. What the JRC does is do an assessment again, not the full, well-rounded functional analysis that is known everywhere else except at the JRC as the fucking gold standard, in order to get an idea of exactly where the patient is at. Nah. They do a functional assessment, folks, where all they care about is the behaviors, which means they do not get a full, well-rounded picture of the individual and how to best support their needs and work with them in order to help them improve and become more independent. No, it does the exact opposite. They use it as a way and a means to further traumatize us. And they call it medicine. So now that you've got that little update, we're going to go ahead and go forth here. The best way to describe our approach to understanding the functions of behaviors is an ongoing functional assessment that begins with a review of historical records before the admission and continues until the day the student leaves. The initial step in trying to prevent the inadvertent reinforcement of problem behavior is to design behavior programs that minimize the roles of escape, attention, and obtaining tangible items or activities can play in motivating unwanted behaviors. Again, we are only focusing on the behaviors. A full functional analysis would give you an idea, particularly since the person in question is participating, God forbid, right? To find out the triggers. It's not about the behaviors, it's about what triggers the behaviors. JRC wants to know what the functions of these behaviors are, but they're not going to do the homework to figure out what's triggering them. If you don't know what's triggering the issues, you're not going to understand what purpose they serve. Can I say that again for the idiots in the back? If you are not doing your homework, if you're not listening to us when we tell you what's triggering the behaviors, because remember, behavior is communication, kids, then you're not going to understand what function these behaviors perform. There are certain behaviors like full-on fucking meltdown that don't serve any particular purpose any more than when you blow your top because you've just had it. It doesn't serve a function. It is a consequence. It is a result. Yeah. You see where I'm going with that. But let me move forward. Minimal attention is given to problem behavior, but a lot of attention is given following positive behaviors. Okay, so you call minimum attention shocking us to death repeatedly. If that's minimal attention, can I get 0? 0? Can that be a thing? Preferred tangible items are programmed into the DRO contracts and generally not available at other times, and the means for the students to request those items are taught as necessary. So you're only allowed to request items if you behave. God. Tasks or IEP goals are initially set at a very short duration with a large reward for completion to reinforce staying on task and reducing the chance of the individual engaging in problematic behavior to escape the demand. Can I say it again? It falls on its face because what are they focusing on, folks? Are they focusing on the education side, even though they evoke the name of the IEP? No, they're focusing on the behaviors. As a person who is given into hyperfocus, to the point that when I was younger, that it faded all else out, and that actually could be very detrimental towards me. When all you have the kid focusing on is their behaviors, to the closeout of all else, if they are more worried about the fact that they could get fucking zapped for any made-up offense, and then have that vague fucking contract give like paper thin justification for it, are you going to be focusing on your education? When you are in fear of the fact that you will have another piece of fucking food you have to throw away and you're starving to death, or you're about to be shocked or fucking jumped, are you going to be able to pay attention to the classroom lesson? Because if you are, you're fucking Superman. That's all I got to say. You can't just focus on one fucking thing and call it treatment. Medical treatment is supposed to treat the whole person, not just one area. Again, that's like when cancer has traveled to your entirety of your body, but you're only treating one area of the body. Doesn't make sense, does it? But let's move on. The tools that are used in our ongoing functional assessment include interview with student on the day of admission, direct observation, digital recordings in all areas of the school, residence, and even during transportation, review of the therapy notes on unusual behaviors that specify antecedent events and what followed the behavior, review of the GED recording sheets that specify what the student was doing, where the GED targeted behavior occurred and at what time, interviews with current staff, and ongoing review of daily, weekly, and monthly behavior frequencies, and evaluating the intervention's effect during these frequencies. It's a fucking rat in a cage sort of thing, folks. You see the language that they're trying to use here, and they're trying to make it sound all science and all viable, but it is garbage. They're almost like the fucking kid with the magnifying glass reflecting the sun straight on the ant so that they can burn the ant alive. It's the same fucking thing. Everything is geared towards if we twitch wrong. Zap! And then afterwards, well, did it make them stop? A slap to the face can often make someone stop their current action. Does that make that slap to the face warranted? No, Karen, it doesn't. But you see how wrong this whole place is, right? Programs are constantly adjusted based on all this information, and our behavior charts show clearly the effects of these changes. Given the success of the program, this shows the effectiveness of this approach. It's not success! How you can look me in the fucking eye and tell me that that student over there who is fucking traumatized and goddamn shaking, and you look me in the eyes and you call that success. You look me in the fucking eyes and tell me starving that kid is doing anything for them. Jumping them is doing anything. You adjust your information and how you treat the kid based off one thing, what you perceive as behaviors. And it can be simple as doing this, folks. We call it flapping in the autistic community. Not all of us do it. Some of us have minimized what we do for stimming, like me with twisting the ponytail holders, or like kind of touching the bottom of my braid and curling it around my fingers when I'm particularly stressed out. They focus only on the behaviors. They do nothing, absolutely nothing, in order to treat the rest of the person. And how they treat those behaviors is inhumane beyond all fucking goddamn reason. And on that note, I'm going to close out. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.